Most people lose not because they lack intelligence, talent, or opportunity, but because they cannot control themselves. They are slaves to impulses, emotions, and distractions. They chase comfort instead of growth, pleasure instead of purpose, and immediate gratification instead of long-term victory. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you could be. It is the rarest form of strength, and the most respected. Without discipline, even the most gifted individuals collapse under the weight of inconsistency. With discipline, even ordinary people rise to extraordinary levels of power. Discipline is often seen as restrictive, but in truth, it is freedom. It is the freedom to act beyond impulse, to stay steady under pressure, and to choose long-term success over short-term desire. People misunderstand discipline because they associate it with punishment or deprivation. But real discipline is not about denial, it is about direction. It is about aligning every choice, every action, and every habit with your highest goals. And when you live with discipline, others recognize it immediately. They see it in the way you carry yourself, in the way you follow through, in the way you do not break under temptation. Discipline commands respect, because it is rare, and human beings admire what is scarce. A disciplined person is consistent. They keep their word, they follow through on commitments, and they remain steady even when life becomes chaotic. In a world where most people abandon their promises even to themselves, discipline becomes a form of authority. People instinctively trust those who are reliable, and trust is one of the purest forms of power. Think of the colleague who always delivers on time, the leader who never breaks under pressure, the athlete who trains daily without fail. Their discipline creates credibility, and credibility creates influence. But discipline is not only about actions, it begins with emotional discipline. The strongest warriors in history were not those who fought recklessly with anger, but those who remained calm under provocation. Emotional discipline makes you unpredictable, which makes you powerful. If others can trigger you, they can control you. But when you master your emotions, no insult, no fear, no manipulation can throw you off balance. This is why the calm negotiator often wins against the emotional one. Why the steady leader commands loyalty while the volatile one loses respect. Emotional discipline is the foundation of all influence. Because people instinctively follow those who remain grounded when everyone else is shaken. Discipline also means mastery of focus. In the modern world, distraction is everywhere. People waste their days scrolling, reacting, chasing fleeting pleasures. But the disciplined individual guards their attention as if it were their greatest treasure. They know that whatever they focus on grows, and that their attention shapes their reality. By controlling their focus, they control their future. This ability to concentrate on what truly matters is what separates the mediocre from the exceptional. Every great invention, every empire, every masterpiece was born from disciplined focus, not scattered attention. Some think discipline is about rigidity, about living life with no joy or spontaneity. But true discipline is about clarity. It is about knowing what is worth your time and what is not. It is about choosing growth over indulgence, meaning over distraction, and strength over weakness. Far from making life dull, discipline makes life richer, because it creates progress, and progress creates fulfillment. The undisciplined may feel free in the moment, but they are trapped by regret, lack of control, and wasted potential. The disciplined may feel restricted at times, but they are building a life of freedom, strength, and respect. History is filled with examples of discipline shaping greatness. The ancient Stoics trained their minds daily, rehearsing control over emotions to prepare for adversity. Samurai warriors lived by codes that demanded strict self-mastery, knowing that discipline on the inside created dominance on the battlefield. Even modern leaders and visionaries attribute their success not to brilliance alone, but to their relentless discipline. Talent fades when discipline is absent, but average ability rises to greatness when paired with discipline. Discipline is not glamorous. It is built in the unseen hours, waking early, training when tired, saying no when tempted, focusing when distracted. These choices rarely earn applause, but they accumulate into an aura of power that others cannot ignore. People notice discipline even when you do not speak of it. They notice it in your composure, in your reliability, in your results. This is why discipline creates respect without words. Boundaries are a vital part of discipline. Without them, you are pulled in every direction, enslaved to the demands of others and the chaos of the world. Saying no when you must, protecting your time, and being selective about what deserves your energy are all acts of discipline. People respect those who respect themselves, and boundaries communicate that respect. The undisciplined person spreads themselves thin, desperate to please, but they are never truly respected. The disciplined person sets clear boundaries, and this firmness inspires authority. Patience is also woven into discipline. The undisciplined are impatient. They want results immediately. They jump from one thing to another, constantly frustrated, constantly restless. The disciplined understand that real growth takes time. They trust the process, stay consistent, and allow momentum to build. This patience creates an advantage, because they outlast everyone else. In business, negotiation, relationships, or personal mastery, the one who can wait calmly always has the upper hand. Patience is power disguised as silence, and it is inseparable from discipline. Another overlooked aspect of discipline is how it creates inner peace. The undisciplined live in constant chaos, torn between impulses, overwhelmed by regret, trapped in cycles of weakness. The disciplined live with clarity. They know what they want, they act in alignment with it, and they sleep with fewer regrets. This calm certainty radiates outward, creating an aura of authority. People are drawn to those who are at peace with themselves, because peace is rare in a world of chaos. But discipline does not mean perfection. Even the most disciplined stumble, fail, or slip at times. What makes them powerful is their ability to return to discipline quickly, without excuses. They do not wallow in failure, because their identity is anchored in consistency, not in perfection. This resilience is part of what makes discipline so magnetic. Others see that you do not break easily, and they trust you more because of it. At its core, discipline is about self-respect. When you keep promises to yourself, you tell your mind that you are trustworthy. When you break those promises, you weaken your own belief in yourself. Confidence grows directly from discipline, because every act of discipline strengthens the bond you have with yourself. Over time, this bond becomes unshakable. The disciplined person walks with quiet authority because they know they can rely on themselves completely. Discipline is also a signal to others. It communicates seriousness, strength, and authority before you even speak. A disciplined leader inspires loyalty because people know they can depend on them. A disciplined partner inspires trust because they are consistent. A disciplined individual commands respect because their life is proof of their inner control. Words are cheap, but discipline is undeniable. The power of discipline lies not only in the grand achievements it creates, but in the small daily victories. Choosing to train instead of rest, to focus instead of drift, to save instead of spend, to stay calm instead of react. These moments may seem small, but they accumulate into greatness. Over time, they create a character that is unshakable. The blueprint of discipline is simple, but not easy. It requires clarity of purpose, emotional control, focused attention, boundaries, patience, and self-respect. It requires choosing long-term victory over short-term pleasure again and again. It requires consistency even when no one is watching, but the reward is immense, because discipline builds the kind of power that cannot be faked. In the end, discipline is not punishment, it is freedom. It is the freedom from regret, from weakness, from being controlled by the world. It is the freedom to rise above impulse, to shape your destiny, to create respect without demanding it. Most people will never master discipline, which is why those who do stand out so clearly. They become leaders, creators, and visionaries, not because they were lucky, but because they were disciplined. Power belongs to the disciplined. Those who cannot control themselves will always be controlled by others, but those who master discipline master their lives. They walk with quiet strength, inspire respect without asking, and achieve what others only dream of. And that is the timeless truth. Discipline is the foundation of all greatness.